guys, what's up? Welcome to Pilates with the foam roller. Today's class is going to be a dynamic stretching and mobility routine where we work into some fascial training. So that means there will be a lot of active stretching, no long, boring holds here. And we will also help reduce the pain and the stiffness in the body with these exercises today. The whole class will be down on the mat, so no standing. This is an all levels routine. I'll give you ways to make it a little easier, a little harder, and it will be focusing more on lengthening rather than just a strengthening class today. You'll feel awesome at the end, I promise. So you're going to need a long foam roller if you want to do all the exercises. So something that's from your head to your tailbone. It covers the whole spine. If you have the short one, you'll be able to do some of them, but you probably won't be able to lay on the roller because it won't cover your whole back. So guys, let's get to it. Meet me on the mat. So we have our foam roller. Real quick, let's talk about two positions of the roller. This is kind of like one of those right and left things where you get confused which side of the body is which. So horizontal is going to mean across the mat, on the short way. And then vertical is going to be lengthwise on the mat. But I'm also going to be visually demoing, so you won't have to just guess, but I'm going to be using those words. So we're gonna start in a Z formation, they call it, where you bring your left shin to the front edge of the mat, and your right leg's also in a 90-degree angle, but the knee's gonna point out to the right. We have a horizontal roller, short ways, across the mat on the left side of us. Now we're gonna place our left hand on the roller and have it slightly in front of your shoulder, so not behind you at all. Scoop your abs in and sink this right hip down so it's not going to come with us when we start our mermaid. Reach your right arm out to the right, palm is up. On your inhale, we'll glide the roller out and reach the right arm up and overhead. Now the palm faces down. And then you're gonna exhale, use your core and roll back up. Gliding the roller out, the roller's gonna roll up the inside of your left arm, and then it will roll back towards your left palm. So this first movement is a side body stretch in the right side. And then as you come back up, we're using this right oblique. So I want you to pull your ribs in and think about using the strength of your right waistline to bring you back up. So let's flow with it here. Big breath in, the ribs expand. Deep breath out, the ribs hug around the spine. So really accentuate the breath here as we warm the body up. And see that the inside of your right knee stays down and your right hip doesn't lift with you. So I'll show you what we don't want, is like that. So if that happens, then don't go as far out. Okay, we're gonna take 3 more. Inhale, elongate from your right fingertips to your right knee. And exhale, draw it back up. Okay, last 2. And last one, we're gonna stay in the side bend, moving into a twist. Hips will not move. Turn your chest to the foam roller to the left. Both palms on the roller, a little wider than your chest. Continue to glide the roller out and drop your chest down. Then pull the roller in, drop your shoulders down, and pull your chest through your arms. So the roller moves away from you. The chest is gonna drop down through the arms. Then you're gonna glide the roller to you. It's gonna roll up to your fingertips, and I want you to open your chest up. So move the front of your shoulder off your chest, expand it. As we do this movement, continue to draw the right hip back. That's going to deepen the twist in the body. Gliding it out. And then gliding it in as we come up into extension. I want you to work your upper back. Engage your shoulder blades and push them down away from your neck. Let's take this 3 more times. Press the inside of your right knee down into the mat. Pull the right hip back. My last 2. Maybe you go a little bit further into that extension. Belly button up, tailbone down. And remember, if you need to modify, it's just about making the range of motion smaller for you. Final one, walk the hands to the center of the roller and then unwind. Okay, let's take this on the other side. So we'll move the roller in the horizontal position to the right. And we're gonna have our right shin now in front of us, and our left knee will point out to the left. We got two 90-degree bends. Left knee is heavy, left hip is down, like there's a weight on your hip. So starting with the side bend, we have the right hand on the roller. It's slightly in front of the shoulder. Opening the chest up. Let's glide the roller out so it rolls up the inside of that right arm. Reach the left arm overhead. Oh, that feels good. And then exhale, we roll it back up. So I want you to take all the cues from the first side, and I'm gonna add a couple more so we can keep growing with this and enhancing our knowledge of these movements. So this is side bending the body, lateral flexion, but not twisting yet. So when you're all the way over here in your side bend, your nose, the center of the chest, and your belly button should point forward and not down yet. So side bend rather than twisting. Press down through your left inner knee. Keep your left hip still. Glide it out. And then roll it up. Looking for opposition here. So stretching between your left fingertips and your left knee, as if those 2 points are moving in different directions. When we move into the side bend, the left hand's reaching for the right wall and the left knee is reaching for the left wall. Finding our breathing. We inhale, expand the ribs, puff them out into your shirt, and then exhale, cinch the ribs and use your left oblique, that left side, to lift you back up. Let's take two more and then we'll move into the twist at the bottom of the second one. Trying to bring your head and that top arm further back in space to intensify the movement. Okay, we're gonna hold this one. Without moving your left hip, turn your chest to the right. Hands on the roller, so palms on, and widen the hands wider than the roller. So I'm really twisting through my ribs to the right. Roll the roller out. It will glide up the arms. You'll drop your chest. Then glide the roller to you and pull your chest through the arms. And actively set your scapulas down. Push them down your back. Glide it out on the in-breath. And then pull it out. Engage your belly button and send your belly button to your chest and your chest to the ceiling. Okay, so modification here would be smaller range of motion. So maybe you don't drop as low and you don't lift as high, but you work the engagement of your upper back. So we get that stretch throughout our chest muscles. When you come down, you'll probably feel a stretch in your lats. So that's kind of like your armpit area, the underneath part of your arm. Good, gliding it out, the chest drops, and we're pulling the left hip back in opposition, pressing the inner left knee and down. Okay, let's take three more here. Maybe you get a little bit deeper with each rep as the muscles and the fascia loosen up. Good, last two. Good, one more. We glide it out. And then navel in, chest up, shoulders down, finding the extension. Walk the hands to the center of the roller and unwind. Let's take the roller and switch it to the other side. Again, in the horizontal position, it's over to your left. So this is going to maybe be kind of intense on this area. That's where we're going to be kind of foam rolling it. And we'll also be doing an active twist. So you'll be a bit to the front of the roller, have just a couple inches in front of you, but a lot behind you. Place on right underneath the left armpit. That's where you're going to be on the roller. Knees are stacked, feet are bent, and squeeze them together. See that your right knee is above the left knee and not behind it. So they are stacked. We're gonna try to keep that. So use your inner thighs, pinch your inner thighs together to keep that alignment. Hands behind the head for support and relax your head, so no tension. Without moving your knees and hips, open your chest and slightly arch your back. We're gonna take a twist. So you'll turn your chest. Turn, 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 turn. Eventually trying to get your shoulder blades onto the roller. And then come back to center. Stack the right shoulder over the left. Let's go a couple more times. Inhale, roll the chest open to the ceiling, but only as far as your knee, the top knee doesn't slide back. So that's going to be the limiting factor. If that top knee moves, we are not necessarily working our true rotation in the mid-back. We're getting help. So really do try to keep the form. That's why I'm so specific about it, because the smallest things will really change the exercise. Okay, I'll be quiet for a couple so you can enjoy it. Inhale, open it up, working to get, oh, I said I'd be quiet and I'm still talking. Working to get your right shoulder to the roller, and exhale to return. Let's go for 3 more. Inhale, twist, maintain an arch in your lower back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, open your chest, bring it back through center. Okay, last 2. And you can feel that the roller is massaging that left lat. Good, 1 more here. Inhale, open the chest up, we twist. Let's hold this one for a second. Feel the knees squeeze together. Open the collarbone and find a little bit of arch through your lower lumbar spine. And then exhale, come back to center. Release your hands and press up. Okay guys, let's take that on the other side. How good are we feeling? If you've taken my classes before, you know I have a hard time not cueing, so that's why I have a hard time not talking. So foam roller is to the right. It's going to be underneath this kind of right armpit area on our lat. We're to the front of it, so there's a lot behind us so we can roll back onto it. And let's stack our knees and feet together. Stick your booty out, so your butt should be behind your upper back. Chest is forward. Now let's hold our head and really cradle it. So my head is like dead weight here. Without moving the knees, we'll roll the chest open. Maybe you get an adjustment, you hear a crack. And then you'll exhale to release. So just work slowly into it. Your first one should not be as deep as the last one. So slowly getting a little bit further into this twist with each one. This is called thoracic rotation, or like thoracic mobility, which is the mid-back, where the mid-back meets the upper back. This would be the bottom of your shoulder blades, right around the middle part of your back ribs. That's where we're moving from. And we're stabilizing in the lower half of the body, meaning no movement in the lower half of the body. So engage your inner thighs, your pelvic floor, and your lower abdominals. And let's go for a couple more. So of course, keeping the form, but working deeper to see if we can lay that left shoulder blade onto the roller. So one more tip here is the top side. This left hip is moving away from the left ribs. So the oblique is long and the right ribs are lifting up. So they are lifted with the help of the roller, but I also want you to actively think of pulling these bottom ribs up into the body. Let's take 2 more here. And then this last one, we're gonna hold it. We'll open our chest up, arms are wide, arch your low back without moving your knees, drop your shoulders down off your neck and pull them together. And then gently release the twist and press it up to a seat. Okay guys, So we are going to go into a little bit of extension of the spine now. So let's keep the roller as is in this horizontal position behind us and turn our backs to it. Place the roller on your back ribs at the bottom of your shoulder blades. Now it's okay to bring the roller a little higher or lower depending on comfort. What I don't want you to see is exaggerate the lower back curve. So I want to think C curve here. Tuck your hips under so your tailbone's moving to your heels and draw your belly in. The pelvis will stay like this. It won't be rocking around for this exercise. We're going to mobilize the upper back, stabilize the lower back. Ground your feet, they're heavy, hands behind your head. With the lower abs engaged, inhale. Allow the head and the upper back to hang over the roller. And then exhale, you'll come back up to neutral. Inhale to lean back into the extension. Notice that your tailbone has not untucked, so keep that scoop. And exhale to lift. To modify, you wouldn't go as far back. So maybe this is comfortable for you. You move up an inch and down an inch. Now, the goal of this exercise is not necessarily a crunch, right? It's actually the opposite. So crunching is flexion. We're working extension. So you're not really coming forward with your chest. You're focusing on going back. This will be lengthening the abdominal muscles rather than shortening them. So we do so much computer work, you've heard the term tech neck, and getting really rounded in our shoulders. This is going to be helpful to undo that or prevent it. Okay, we're going to take 2 more. Inhale, stretch it back. Exhale to lift up. Last one. And as you come up, we're going to stop at neutral. So our head, chest, and hips are somewhat in a line rather than being higher up here. Now we're going to go side bends. So your nose and your chest and your belly button should face the ceiling the whole time. Hands are behind the head without moving your hips. Lean over to the left. You bring your left elbow to your outer left hip. Then come through center. Lean over to the right. Bring your right elbow to your outer right hip. So we're oblique crunching, but not twisting. It's a side bend. And I want you to try not to move your pelvis. So think of bringing your upper body to your lower body, but not bringing your lower body to your upper body. So I'll demonstrate that. On this left side, I'm not pulling my left hip up and crunching. So my hips are not moving at all. I'm bringing my elbow down, but not my hip up. This should also give you, if you're tight, a tricep, lat, oblique stretch. Good, let's take 1 more each side. To the left. And to the right. Good, coming through center. Now curl up and lift off the roller. So we're going to take this roller. It's still going to be horizontal. It's going to go underneath your lower back, so a little bit above your butt. So it's across the mat. Lay on your back. Lift your hips up and put the roller underneath your lower back. Now you'll know if it's in the right place if you're able to not fall off of it. So if it's too low and it flies away from you, you need to move it up a little bit higher. So you're going to pull your shoulders down, tuck your pelvis, and drop your ribs into the floor. So no back bend, pull it together. And then we're gonna bring the legs up to a tabletop. If you don't feel super balanced here, you can hold the roller with one hand or the floor, no problem. So with the pelvis staying in a tuck, extend the left leg long and low and pull the right knee to your chest. You can hold the right knee with just the right hand and the roller with the left, or you can do both hands to add more compression into the hip. So I'm really squeezing the leg into the body. Without moving your pelvis, let's switch the legs. Squeeze the left knee in, reach the right leg long and point your toes. Good, and then again, switch. Okay, so I'm using the core to keep my hips stable and in this imprinted or tucked position. And switch. It's also going to help strengthen those lower abs. And switch. Thinking of your knee that's to your chest and the leg that's long, moving in opposite directions. So left knee comes in, right leg reaches away. Right knee comes in, left leg reaches away. Okay, last one here. Okay, now when we switch, we're going to grab the back of the thigh. So bring your right leg in. You can hold it with one hand, straighten both legs. So the right leg is high, left leg is low, toes are pointed. You can hold it with both hands, whatever you're more comfortable with. Now, instead of bringing the leg in like this and the knee being bent, push the leg into the hands as you pull the hands into the leg. So I'm pulling in with my hands and my leg strength is pushing out. Then let's switch the legs. So keeping the legs super straight by engaging your quads. Kneecap quads pull up the front of the leg. Okay, let's switch again. Toes are pointed and reaching away from the body. The leg that comes to you, make sure that hip crease doesn't crunch up your side body. So my left leg's in, I'm going to move my left outer hip away from my left ribs. And then when my right leg comes in, I'm moving the right hip crease down so it doesn't hike up. Okay, now flex your feet, heels out, spread your toes, and switch. Grab the back of the left thigh. Drive your heels out, engage your thighs. Okay, you're in your hamstring stretches, right? We're feeling good, guys. Breathing in. And breathing out. Nice job. Let's do one more each way. To the left. And to the right. Good, and then bend the knees. Let's set the feet on the floor. Lift the hips and remove the roller. Hips down, and we'll bring it on up to a seat. Okay, so we're gonna head into a straddle. This is just kind of a reset for our back. I'm gonna show it sideways. So your legs are long to a wide V. If you are really tight and your lower back is like this, put the roller behind you. Hands on the roller, push against the roller and lift your spine up. That's gonna be helpful a lot to get you out of compression in that lower back. So think of belly button in, lift the spine up. Other option, roller inside the legs, hands on the roller with an open chest, turn the legs out, you're gonna glide the roller out, and glide it in. So we're just dynamically working into the inner thigh and a little bit of lower back release. If you're more flexible, the legs can go wider. What I do not want to see is when you roll the roller out that your legs roll in like this and your butt lifts up. So tuck your pelvis, hips are heavy, and turn your legs out. Okay, we're gonna take a couple of these to loosen up the lower back. Good. Okay, roll it back in and now flex your feet. Again, actively turn the inner thighs out, roll out, roll in. Okay, we're gonna go for 4 more here, for 4. And 3. For 2. And last one for 1. Okay, bringing it in. So we will sit on the roller now. The roller will be in a horizontal position. Take a seat on your roller, and you want to feel your lower back move into your body. So we're not rounding the back. We're lifting really tall. Feet are out in front of us, about a foot apart, with a bend in the knees. So you might feel a hamstring stretch here, but what I'm going for is to get a stretch in the lower back. So your goal is to have your back as straight as humanly possible. That's the goal. Take the hands behind the thighs, pull up. I'm lifting my torso, I'm pulling up into my legs like I'm trying to lift them off the floor, but my weight of my legs are driving down. Quads are engaged, and get really, really tall. Lift your heart up. So maybe this is where you feel a stretch. As long as you keep the abdominal wall long, so there is no crunching, it's long, you're going to come forward and bring your belly onto your thighs. Push your sternum forward. If you're still going further, heels can glide out. Okay, we should be in a space where we're really feeling that lower back stretch. Engage your quads and push your hips back behind you. Okay, so you're gonna lift up, pull against the thighs, shoot the sternum forward and the tailbone back. See if you can create more length in your abdominal wall. Good, exhale, lift up. Inhale, hinge forward. The movement is the spine and around your hip creases in your low back, not your legs. Your legs are in a static position. The movement's here around the pelvis. So let's do 3 more. We hinge. This is the deadlift position in your back. And we lift. Last 2. Hinge. Get longer and longer. Create space here. And lift. Last one. Lift even taller. Think the top of the head and the tailbone are moving apart from one another. And exhale, release. Woo, that builds some heat. So guys, let's just bring the roller out in front of us, still in this horizontal position. We're gonna look at child's pose, but doing it very actively, so we get a stretch in our lats, which is this area right here. So hands wide V on the roller. The whole hand is pushing down. So I want you to think of driving the palm into the roller. Knees apart, toes together. Keeping the hands in this fixed position, turn your back of your arm, your elbow area to the floor, bicep to the ceiling. Now drop your chest down, tuck your hips under, and lift your rib cage up. This should start to create a stretch in your upper mid-back, maybe the lats, and also your chest. We are extending the arms as much as possible, so they're not resting, yeah? That's gonna make the difference here in the child's pose. So let's hold this for 3 deep breaths. And then roll all the way up. So we'll take some cat-cows. Bring the roller right underneath your shoulders. So we're going to play around with a rotation in the arm. So I'm trying to get us to work with external rotation. We'll be moving the arm from internal to external rotation. Hands planted, fingers spread wide right underneath the shoulders. Spin your elbows forward and then spin your elbows towards your knees without moving your hand. Let's do that again. Elbows go forward, so they're pointing towards your fingers, and they're gonna spin towards your knees. And we're maintaining a micro bend so that they are not locked out. Okay, let's do it 2 more times. Just feeling that movement and making sure your pointer finger and your thumb are pressing down. Okay, now we're gonna add the cat-cows. So elbows are gonna internally rotate. Upper arm internally rotates, elbows point forward, round your back and push the roller away. Now turn your elbows to you, arch your back. Pull the roller to your knees. Lift your chest and your tailbone. Internally rotate. Move the elbow forward, round the back, tuck the tailbone. Then move the elbow towards your body. Inhale. Pull the roller to you and lift the tailbone up behind you. Good. Exhale. Spin the elbow forward, push the roller away. Inhale, spin the elbow to the knee and pull the sternum through. So move the shoulders away from your neck. Let's take it 2 more times. We exhale to round, lift the belly.
Spread your shoulder blades and push the roller apart laterally. Inhale, spin the elbows in and pull the sternum through. Pull your back muscles away from your neck. Last one, breathe out to round. Drive the roller through the floor, lift the chest and the belly. Inhale, pull the roller to your body and open the heart. Very nice. Okay, roll the roller further out in front of you. We're taking Swan or Cobra, same thing, whatever you want to call it works. So I want you to work the external rotation. That would be when the elbow is pointing to the floor, but the whole palm is planted, so not just the pinky. So we're gonna take the hands, like fingertip area on the roller. Let's be wider than our shoulders. Tops of the feet kick into the floor. Thighs are engaged and the knees lift. Do not lift your legs. Keep your legs active with the feet heavy and the thighs up. Press the pubic bone into the ground so we eliminate too much lower back curve. We're gonna glide the roller to us and push the hand down, lifting the heart up, and then glide the roller back out. As you inhale, spin the elbows to the floor, push the palms down, lift the chest. Exhale, glide it back out. So you're gonna keep the roller more towards your hand if you don't wanna go as high. If you wanna take this into more of a back extension, we're gonna put the roller up on the wrists. Okay, spin the elbows down, roll to the palms. We lift up, you can see that we're coming higher into the extension. Push your shoulders down at the top. Make your upper back and your arms really active, and we glide the roller out. Now you can continue to advance that by moving the roller higher up the inside of the arm. When you get a lot higher, I want to make sure your elbows are pointing down, your shoulders are dropping down your back. We roll it out. Good, let's take it a couple more times. Inhale, nice and smooth. Exhale, roll it down. At the top range of motion, when you're up in the back bend, tuck the pelvis and check that the feet are kicked down into the floor. Okay, final one here. Breathe in to lift. Feel your upper back muscles move away from your ears. Breathe out to lower. Keeping your right palm to modify, wrist to advance on the roller. Bend the left knee in, grab the left foot and pull the heel to you. Your deepest modification would be to rest your head down, okay, no back bend. If we're moving on, we're coming into half rocking. So first, before you even lift up, slide the right arm bone into the back of the shoulder socket. Tuck the pelvis and then roll up, pressing down onto the right palm, kicking the left shin back, and then roll it back down. So first, initiate, slide the right arm into the back of the right shoulder, and then we roll. Okay, let's take that a couple more times. Breathe into the extension. And breathe out as you roll it to the mat. Last two. Working to keep the left knee in line with the left hip and not letting it kind of open up to the left. And one more. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, release. Okay, so here we go for the other side. So modification, left palm on, head can be down. Left palm on, right foot, right hand, or the wrist to advance. So you can see this in my shoulder. Before I lift, I move the arm into the shoulder socket. Then I glide the roller in and push down into it, kicking my right leg back. And then we roll it back out. So what I want to try to really find here is keeping my knees parallel. So letting them stay pointing to the floor basically, not to the side walls. So think of a little bit of an inner thigh engagement here. Inhale, we roll it up. And exhale, we roll it out. Okay, let's take two more. Dropping the shoulders down the back and actively pulling them together. And last one. Thinking of length, getting your sternum to go forward, your legs to go back, and then the lift. And we roll it all the way down. Okay, let's bring it to kneeling. We're getting into some hip flexor and hamstring stretches. So let's stand the roller up. Fix your leggings if you need to. So the roller is up. It's going to help us with balance. Take the roller over to the right. We'll be working the left leg first. Step the left leg forward for a high lunge. Let's drop the hips down. Drive your left foot down to drop your left hip, and then push into the roller and lift your chest up. Then move the hips back, straighten the left leg, and flex the toes to the knee. So those will be how we switch. I'm gonna walk us further and further into the form, but I just wanna get us moving. So we lunge, left knee over ankle. Squeeze your front foot and your back knee together like there's a big beach ball between your legs. So we're letting the hips drop, but we're not just sitting into it. I'm not hanging freely. I'm pulling up, inner thighs, pelvic floor, and pushing off the roller for the height of the spine. Then I'm straightening the front leg, dropping the left hip down, and look at the right hip, right knee. Pull the right hip over the right knee. That was a lot. I'll walk you through it again. We low lunge, but we hug in. Back knee to front foot. Lift off the roller. So use the roller to lift the spine out of the hips. Then push the hips back. Flex the foot, engage your quad, drop the left hip, hug the right hip over the right knee. Let's flow it a little bit. Lunge forward, tuck the pelvis, lift the torso, and hamstring stretch. Now, if this hamstring stretch is like crazy intense for you, it is okay if the knee is bent. You can also take the leg wider. Wider is gonna be a little bit easier on the body. Or maybe more accessible is a better word. Low lunge, drop the hips, and hamstring stretch. Okay, we're gonna do 2 more, and I want you to look at something when I do the hamstring stretch. Low lunge, tuck the hips, lift off the roller, hamstring stretch. I often find people do this. This is not good. I want really good form in your back. This is going to help get your hamstring to stretch more. I'd rather your back be straight and your knee have to be bent than you be locking your joint out and like this. Okay, let's do 1 more. Low lunge, drop the hips, and then hamstring stretch, pull the hips back. Okay, step it to kneeling. We're taking this over to the right. So the roller is over to the left. Step your right foot forward. So when you bend the knee is over the ankle. Push off the roller and lift the body. Then push the hips back. So booty back and flex the right foot. Hips over the kneeling knee, not sitting down. Okay, low lunge. Hug front foot to back knee. Use your inner thigh, your pelvic floor strength. So we get a stretch here in this hip flexor. And then push the hips back and think you're trying to get your tailbone to go to the back wall and your chest to the front wall. Good, low lunge, drop the hips. And into that hamstring stretch. Dropping your right hip to the floor and pulling this left hip in. This is really hard to do, but if you take a peek at your hips and you see the left hip is going to the outside of the left knee, I want you to pull it over the knee. Low lunge, pulling up through the front line of the body, and hamstring stretch, lengthening through the back line of the body. Let's take 3 more here. And just working with where we're at today. Remember, it's okay if that front knee has to bend or if you need to make any modifications that make it feel right in your body. Engaging this right quad in the hamstring stretch. And let's take one more. We low lunge. I'm getting a little sweaty. What about you? And we hamstring stretch. Woo! Okay, we're going through a different series of lunges. Little bit different look into a deep quad stretch and some foam rolling for this area, which is, in my opinion, really intense. So I'm going to step my right foot forward. So my ankle is going to be over my knee. I'm going to roll the roller right above the knee on the left thigh. For this first moment, my left foot is flexed and I'm driving my heel back. If you're not as flexible as me, your leg might be up. That's totally fine. So if it's able to rest, that's fine, but it's engaged. So the quad is engaged and I'm driving my heel back, my toes are tucked. So I'm getting a little plantar fascia stretch as well. The front knee hugs over the front ankle. Belly button in, sternum moving forward. Okay, now untuck your back toes and just let the chest come down a little bit. Moseying to the ground. Hug the right knee to your right tricep so it doesn't splay out to the side. So if you're not able to do the next move, you'll stay here. The next move is intense, and you could stay here and foam roll up and down the left quad. Okay, the next move's not only just intense because of the position, but it's gonna put a lot more pressure on the quad for the foam rolling. So I'm gonna lift up a bit, left hand underneath the shoulder, twist to the right and grab the left foot with the right hand. Like I said, this is intense. Now I'm going to roll up and down the left quad with the foam roller. Feel free to change the angle of your left leg by turning it out, turning it squared, turning it in. So part of some fascial training is hitting different angles with different amount of pressure. So this is going to be very releasing to your left quad, and you don't have to take my word for it, you will feel it when we come out of it. It's quite intense, I think, if you have strong quads from being flexible. I'm certainly feeling it. Good, and you can bring it a little higher or lower. And try to relax your shoulders or anywhere you typically hold tension, because I know this is quite something. Okay, gently release your back leg. Good, and then roll off the roller, set the knee down, and step to kneeling. Oh my gosh, we got some stuff going. Let's take that to the left leg. So the left leg is coming to the front for the lunge. Place the foot so that the heel is underneath your knee, and then set the roller up so it's right above your right knee but not on it. So no pressure on the joint, but on the muscle. So hands to the inside of the left leg. Take the left knee, use the inner thigh strength, and hug it to the left shoulder. Tucking the right toes, drive the right heel back. So yes, the roller could be there, but if it wasn't, the knee would not be resting. So my right quad is pushing up, and my right heel is driving back, which is giving me a huge stretch in my right hip flexor. Good. Okay, so belly button in, shoulders are down. Now we're going to untuck the back toes. Remember, we're not on the knee. And then we're gonna hold this one by lowering the chest a little bit, but staying long in the spine. Good, then we're pressing up, and you can stay here and do the quad rolling, and you can do the action where you turn in and you turn out with the leg bone, or we'll take it up a notch. Front heel over, then under the front knee, right hand under the shoulder, we twist to the left and grab the right foot. Then we're gonna roll up and down on that right quad. Good, you can move the leg in the hip socket, going from internal to external rotation. And if you find like, oh, that area is quite intense, That's probably the area you want to work, but you might have to move in and out of it in order to, withstand the intensity. I know there are some quite sore spots. Good, relax your shoulders and keep breathing. And then maybe we bring the roller up a little higher on that quad. We'll do a couple more rolls. Okay, gently release and step behind the roller. So we're gonna head into a stretch for the fascia of your feet, our plantar fascia. I'm sure you've heard of plantar fasciitis when people get kind of like bad pain around the arch of their foot usually. This helps stretch it out. I'm gonna show you from the side, I'll also show you this from the back. So we'll be kneeling on the roller, knees in line with the hips, toes are tucked. Now, in order to get more intensity, literally take your hand, pull your toes forward towards the roller. So you're getting as much of the ball of the foot on the floor as possible. Then you're gonna take a seat on your heels. This could be where you stay. The higher you bring up your upper body, the more intense it's going to be in the feet. There's more weight back on it. So if you wanna come with me, we're up to kneeling. Now I'm really just sitting on my heels. There's a lot of weight there. And this is a big stretch for the bottom of the foot. So you stay here. I'm gonna also show this from the back. So the roller, it's in front of us. Knees are on it, hips distance and parallel. And what I wanna do here is demo the bottom of the foot. So I'm pulling the toes forward. So I'm trying to get the ball of the foot down and not just my toe. And that's okay if you're not there yet because you don't have the flexibility, but eventually. Pressure into the big toe and bring the heel over the center of the foot. So we don't want the heels looking like this. We want to pull them so they stack right over the center of the toes. Not like that, but just in the middle. And then we take a seat and we sit back on our heels. Voila! Maybe lean back a little bit, adding even a little bit more pressure. Take a deep breath in. And then we're going to come out of this and step down to kneeling. So I'm gonna show you this one backwards first, since I also think it's important what's going on in the feet. We're stretching the tops of the feet, the metatarsals out. So we're gonna take the roller, it's horizontal and we're straddling it. So I'm going to squeeze the roller with my inner thighs, but also my inner ankles. Toenails are down on the floor, and I'm gonna take a seat back on the roller. Now, maybe you keep your hands on the ground. If you have the flexibility in the feet and the shins and the knees, we're sitting on the roller. Still, my inner heel hasn't left the roller. It's hugging into it. So that's what we're trying to get the position in the feet. Just gonna kind of move this around so I'm sideways to you. Okay, so we have this guy. To advance from here, you're going to lean back. Tuck your pelvis under, and we're getting more and more stretch throughout the thighs. So you could take this to a place where you're possibly on your forearms, your hands, your forearms, and I just want you to be careful of too much pressure in your lower back. So this would be like the full Monty, but I don't want to overarch my low back. So I'm not trying to stick my tailbone down into the roller. I'm trying to scoop my glutes under. If you come into this position and your knees are floating up, then it's too far. Your knees need to stay down. Okay? So I think a sweet spot for me is somewhere like here, forearms. Okay, let's just take another breath or two here and release the tops of the feet. Also, I am kicking the tops of my feet into the ground. So I'm applying pressure with the strength of my body. Okay, walk it all the way up. Come off the roller and just stretch your left leg back, tuck your toes, push your heel back and straighten the knee. Good, and then switch. We're gonna do that to the other side. Tuck the right toes, push the heel back and straighten your knee. Okay guys, something everyone's always been waiting for is some groin flexibility using the roller. So we're gonna use the roller for a little bit of support. Now, if you are not as flexible in this position, you could also add some towels or some pads to add a little bit more height to it. Okay, so I'm straddling the roller. We're gonna walk the knees out to a 90-degree angle until I'm laying on the roller. I'm resting my pelvis on the roller here. And then if you're still good, you'll come down onto your forearms. Bringing the knees in line with the outer hip, the ankle in line with the knee. Now try not to stick your butt up. So tuck your hips under and push your pubic bone into the roller. Lift your belly up. Walk the knees a little bit apart. We're nice and deep in this inner thigh and groin stretch. So we're gonna do a mobility drill here. While trying to keep the pelvis still, I'm going to lift my left foot up and then lower it down, and then lift my right foot up and lower down. This is internal rotation of our leg in the hip socket. But what I'm trying not to do is like wiggle my hips on the roller. So the roller should not move at all as you do this. If it is, make it a lot smaller. That's gonna be your true internal rotation rather than moving the roller to lift the leg. So fixed pelvis position, moving just the leg. And just kind of observe the body. Maybe it feels different from one side to the other. I actually feel like this feels quite nice. Okay, I'm gonna show another option here. If it doesn't work for you, you can also just continue to hold this stretch. So we're gonna extend one leg at a time to the side. So I'm gonna kick my left leg out to the side, flex the foot, and then bend the knee back in, and then right leg out to the right of the hip, flex the foot, and bend it back in. So as I do this, my heel is pushing out, my knee is pulling up and turning out. So I'm trying to get my knee to turn more towards the ceiling rather than the floor. So think of your upper inner thigh turning up to the sky. And also when you straighten the leg, get the weight into your heel, the inner heel more than your toes. That's gonna help with the rotation. Again, try not to move the roller or your hips too much. So keep the integrity of your spine and your pelvic position. Good, let's do 3 more. This is definitely an intense one. And last 2. And last 1. Okay, bend the knee, walk the legs in, and come to kneeling. So we're gonna take this into a back bend, sometimes referred to as puppy's pose. This is a more advanced version of child's pose, really. So if you need to modify, you can do the child's pose that we did earlier this class. So hands are on the roller and they're wide apart. We've learned the external rotation and micro bend in the elbow. So whole hand planted, spin your tricep to the floor, bicep to the sky. That modification would be sitting on your heels for child's pose. The advancement is going to be letting your chest drop down and your hips are over your knees. Then your head, your chest can go towards the floor. It's also okay if they're lifted up. It's just gonna be a little bit harder, so you could always put a pillow underneath your head. What I want you to work really hard is to keep the hand active, your arms straight, and your elbows spinning to the floor. Now roll the roller an inch to you, sliding the arm into the shoulder socket. Pull the ribs and belly in, and then accentuate the back bend, letting the chest drop and letting the hips lift. Good, so my shoulder blades and my upper back are spreading apart. That's allowing for the spiraling of my tricep to the floor. One more advancement would be knees can go a little further back. That will definitely get you. And you can also look at the roller and think of pushing your chest to the roller and pulling the roller to the chest. That is turning my arms on like crazy. So nice big back bend of the spine. Good. As you exhale, pull the navel in, tuck the hips, and roll up. Good work, okay. So let's just take a child's pose. Put your head on the roller to support your head. And put your arms by your sides with the palms facing up. And just take a couple deep breaths here. So you should have felt a really big stretch in your back. Good, and then coming all the way up, face the roller. And take a seat with your legs crossed. Left leg in front, right leg behind you. Like the straddle, you can place the roller behind you. This is the modification. If your knees are really lifted and your back is really curved, roller behind you, push down into the roller, lift your back up and drop your knees. If you need to further modify, the roller can be further back so you can get your back straight. Okay, that's the modification. Otherwise, we are going to go forward. So tuck your abs in and extend the spine as you roll the roller out, going deep into your hip stretch, and you'll roll the roller in an inch and out an inch. And you're just kind of easily, dynamically moving a little bit lower and deeper into that lower back and hip stretch. Okay, maybe you're starting to let your head drop to the floor. The hips should feel heavy the whole time. So make sure when you roll the roller out, your hips don't lift up like this. So that you're creating internal pressure by tucking your hips down into the ground. Okay, let's roll the roller to us, and we're going to switch legs. So you can keep the modification if you're there, and just switch out your front leg. So right leg in front, flex your feet, belly button in. We're gonna roll out and in, just working into a glute, outer hip stretch. And also we did a lot of we'll call it stuff with the spine rather than using all these scientific words. So doing a forward bend probably just feels good right now. Good, breathing in and out, and maybe we've gotten even lower and you're just moving slightly. It doesn't have to be huge. You think of spinal length here, while keeping the hips grounded. Good, roll all the way back up. Okay, we are going to lay on the roller. So the roller is going to be vertical, and we're going to lay on it. So your tailbone's at the bottom and your head will be at the top. Okay, so lining it up on your spine. We will want to find some core engagement here for two reasons. So we don't fall off, which is pretty important. And two, the more you can really isolate your rib cage in these exercises, the bigger stretch and mobility you're going to get in your shoulders and in your lats. So you can be in neutral or imprint. I'm fine with either one. That would be the pelvic position. Imprint is the lower back touches. Neutral is the lower back has an arch, the tailbone's heavy, but your abs are still tight. What is most important for these stretches, in my opinion, is your rib cage. So the front ribs are coming together and pushing down. So where you touch your back ribs, you should not be able to slide your hand underneath your back ribs at any point. They should be down on the mat or the roller. Okay, ground your feet. Decide on the position of the spine you like. If you're new, I suggest imprint, meaning everything in your back touches. And then reach your arms to the ceiling. When your arms are overhead, that's going to be the most challenging to keep the rib cage down, and that is the most important. Keep it down. So here we go. Exhale, ribs down, arms are straight, palms are in, reach overhead. Reach, reach, reach. Now hold this position. Pull the arm into the socket, slide it down, press the ribs down, and reach through the fingertips. So this doesn't count. Yes, I'm talking to you. Straighten your arms. Then circle the arms to a T, palms up, palms to the hips, they face in. Reach for your heels to move the shoulder down off your neck, create a lot of space. Then we'll continue. Exhale, reach overhead. Ribs down. Spiral the tricep to the ceiling, bicep to the floor, that external rotation we practiced. Keep circling, palms up, palms in as they reach for the heels. Breathe out. Reach overhead. Press that mid-back down into the roller. Reach for the back wall, but don't let your shoulders slide up. And continue the circle. One more time. Exhale, ribs down. Firm your tricep and reach overhead. Maybe your thumb gets a little closer to the floor. Circle around to the hips and let's reverse. So reach the arms long, circle out to a T, palms up. Circle overhead, palms in, hold it for a second. Exhale the abdominals down into the roller. And then continue the circle. Palms in at the bottom, palms out at the sides. Rotate the palms in at the top and also the triceps up. And then continue. Okay, let's take 2 more. Exhale as we go overhead. And try to hold the overhead position and really work it. This is that active stretching here, not passive. So it won't look like this. You might feel something, but you're not going to get as much out of it. And continue inhaling. Last one. Exhale. Circle around, overhead reach. Rib cage down. And then lift the arms up. So we're going to bring our arms into a goalpost position. So our arms are making a 90-degree bend, and you're going to make a fist with your hand. Now bring your fist over your elbows. So hand faces the ceiling and it's stacked over the elbow. Your upper arm is not going to move. It's going to stay at the same height and the same location. Just the lower arm is going to move. Rib cage down. I want you to press your fist towards the bottom of the mat. Push, 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 push as much as you can, but you have not moved that upper arm. You should feel something juicy here in your shoulders and your triceps, maybe your elbow. And then you're gonna release the tension and bring your hands back over your elbows. So I want you to imagine there are resistance bands behind you. With your fists, you're holding them. You're pulling the resistance band towards the bottom of the mat, towards the ground. Pull, pull, pull. So you're creating that intensity. I don't have any resistance bands either, and I can definitely feel this, but you gotta really go for it. So it can't be like this. You're just not gonna feel it. Okay? So try to push the hand forward without moving your elbow, and then release. This is called internal rotation. So spread the collarbone, drop the rib cage. Oops, I forgot about it. That's why I have to say it so many times. It's so easy to forget these things. And then fingernail side of the hand going forward. Push, 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 push. Good. Okay, we're gonna do one more. So I want you to push as hard as you can until you're shaking. So I'm pushing forward, turning the muscles on, elbows are reaching to the side walls, and release. Woo! We light things up in the shoulders. Okay, we're gonna go full body here with this next move. So your feet are hips distance and parallel. Tailbone is now in neutral for everyone. Gonna do a pelvic curl. Arms are coming into a goalpost position with the hand wide, palms facing the ceiling, and the elbows point to the side walls. Okay, so when you're in neutral, your rib cage is down and your tailbone is down, but there's a little gap between your lower back and the roller. As you exhale, you're tucking your hips, so now there's no gap between your lower back and the roller, and you're gonna roll your body up. I'm going to stop before my rib cage splays. It is down. Lace the ribs. Reach the arms overhead, staying low to the ground with the arms. Fully straighten your elbows. Pull the arm into the shoulder socket and the ribs down. Now start to roll the spine back down, tucking the pelvis under. Bone by bone, the back returns to the roller. Find neutral. Bend the elbows. It's a lot. We're gonna keep going with it. It's gonna feel awesome. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, belly in. Tuck the pelvis. Roll the body up. It should feel like your waistline is shortening, like there's a crunch in your abdominal wall. The ribs are down, so we're not going that high. Reach the arms overhead fully. Give me what you got. Go for it. Then pull the shoulders down away from your neck and roll your back down, bone by bone. Find neutral, bend your elbows. It should be a huge stretch here in your lats and side body. Let's go for it again. Breathe out, roll the spine up. Hold the rib cage down and the shoulders down as you reach overhead. Roll the body back down, bend the elbows. 2 more. C curve, we roll up. Okay, keeping your shoulders and back muscles down as you straighten the arms. That's the challenge, is not letting them come with you. Roll the back down, bend the elbows. Okay, final one. Exhale, belly button in, roll up. Arms extend overhead without anything changing in your shoulders. They're anchored. Then roll the body back down and then bend the elbows. Woo! Okay, guys, we're gonna come off the roller and we're coming into a crisscross applesauce position. So cross your legs. I'm gonna show this from the back just for a second. So you're gonna be placing the roller horizontal behind you. Then it's going to be lifted up onto your mid-back, and you'll have your arms around the roller with your palms facing your back and your thumbs on the outside. Now I want you to roll the shoulders off the chest and turn your elbows towards each other. Drop your shoulders down. So I'm gonna show that one more time. So I don't wanna be here, right? Unround the shoulders on the chest, bring your elbows together and turn your palms to your low back and sit really tall. Okay, so this is where we're gonna finish, and it's just a nice chest opener. Okay, so let's show that from the front real quick. So we're not here, yeah? Spread your shoulder blades, elbows together, palms up. Ha! If you have a hard time sitting crisscross applesauce, sit on your couch or in a chair. Okay, so hold this position. Your back muscles are active, going into a little bit of cervical spine movement, aka the neck. So try not to move your torso. The torso, everything from your shoulders down is still. This will allow the neck to mobilize and not get some help from other parts of the body. So we're gonna go lateral flexion of the neck. So head stays back, nose points forward, drop your right ear to the right shoulder, and then left ear to the left shoulder. Okay, so what we don't wanna do is move the body as we do this. Right? So keep your spine still and just move your head. Even if it's small, that's fine. It doesn't have to be big. And if it's confusing, do this looking in a mirror so you can see, oh, I am leaning over. Okay, push your shoulders down your back, one more each way. Ooh. Always tight on this side for me. Okay, now we're gonna turn the head, so rotation. Just the head, not the torso. So belly button, chest face forward. Look over the right shoulder. Staying tall, look over the left shoulder. Inhale, lift tall through center. Exhale, turn the head. The chin should stay at the same height the whole time. So when I turn my head, the chin doesn't go down or up. It's at the same level. Lift up through that posture. Let's take 2 more. To the right, to the left. And last one, to the right, and to the left. So through center, finishing with neck circles. Maintain the posture, try not to move the spine. Circle the head around 3 times in each direction. Use your core to keep the rest of the body still. Think of your head like a weight. Really try to push it into the direction you're circling. And let's reverse. Breathing through it for 3. Big range of motion for 2. And last one, all the way around the world. Restack the head, release the roller, and shake it out. Good job, you guys. We made it. That was Pilates with the foam roller.
some dynamic stretching and fascial training. I hope that you feel awesome. You could definitely do this class weekly, if not more often. It's a full body routine that really stretches everything out. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had an awesome Pilates with the foam roller class, and this will certainly just make things kind of feel relaxed, hopefully relieve pain and tension in the body, especially if you do this regularly. Remember, consistency is key. So finding activities you enjoy that help with our cardiovascular health, our mobility, all the things, you know, we love to do it here on Pilates On Demand. My name's Lindsay, and I would love if you could hit that subscribe button below. It's totally free, just lets you know when I have a new class that's out on the channel. So guys, I will see you on the next one. Bye.